Now, as the Igbo people have gone to the west and the north and contributed this much without the Westerners, and see, I'm going to read this thing slowly because this is the mindset of the average Igbo person. He just wrote this in the book for us. Please, let's power up. Thank you very much. He says here, now, as the Igbo people have gone to the west and the north and contributed this much without the Westerners and Northerners undertaking similar projects in Igbo land, Ndi Igbo have thought that they would be treated with dignity and respect in Nigeria, but that has not come to be. These most dynamic and hardworking people have been treated like strangers in their own country. Properties they labored for years to build in the areas they migrated to are said to be abandoned. Their technology and industry have been totally checkmated. A civil war was forced on them, and more than 1 million Igbos lost their lives. Is a lie. Since the end of that war, things have never been the same again. 25 years after the civil war, the people that competed favorably with their Yoruba counterparts have abandoned education, politics, and even investment in industries. Today, Igbos are in disarray. One single Igbo State Union of the 60s has given way to multiple associations in Igbo land, such as Umpoko Igbo, Eastern Mandate Union, the Union, Ohaneze, Concerned Igbos, Aka Ekenga, Injiko Igbo, and a host of others. So let's try and explain some of the things that he wrote here. Number one, it says they have gone to the west and the north and contributed this much because they've helped them build houses and brought light where there's darkness and given them doctors where they needed, medical help. And because they've contributed this much without the Westerners and Northerners undertaking similar projects in Igbo land. Now, to start with, there are Yoruba people doing well in Igbo land. But what you see here is that you cannot say that just because you have developed space, you have not even developed, you have done business in my space or you have traded in my space and I have not traded in your space, therefore you have a right in my space to be treated with whatever definition of dignity and respect means. So again, one of the things I need to ask, if you are Igbo and you want to come up, please, I'd like to ask, what does it mean to be treated with dignity and respect in Nigeria? How are you not treated with dignity and respect? Because I want to know what does it really mean? Maybe my English language is not good enough, or my understanding of the English language, maybe it's not good enough. What does it mean to be treated with dignity and respect? Are you being harassed for selling things, for trading in Yoruba land? Is anybody fighting you? What is the definition of being treated with dignity and respect? And by the way, the outsiders who live in your region, how do you treat them that is any better than how you are treated? These are the things that, and the reason I'm reading this thing, I know a lot of it is not true, but I'm reading it because you should know that these things are not just things that are said in the streets. When you talk and people say things like, it's just one person saying it, it's not just one person, it's a cultural outlook, it's a world view. Having bought land in your place, there's a way I should be moving. So how should they spread clothes and say Hosanna when you are walking the road? What exactly is the definition of dignity and respect that, for instance, Yoruba people are not offering? Because it says the west and the north. Then it says these most dynamic people and hardworking people have been treated like strangers in their own country. How? You are literally everywhere. And I've not heard news of any group of people saying things like, they want to, maybe the government of those regions want to eject the Igbos out of their place. Meanwhile, in this country called Nigeria, there's only one region where Nigerians who were not from there were ejected by the state, by the government of that state, of that region. And the only reason they were ejected was because they were not indigenous to that region. That's the eastern region. Ojukwu did that. Every non-Easterner was expelled from the east. It's funny because you would think that those are the people you should be talking to about allowing people to be treated with dignity and respect. But no. Evidence. You want evidence. Guys, I like it when people ask questions like this. At least he wants evidence. So let me Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring up a book. And thank you, Meltman, by the way. I mean, this is a good way to engage. Let's start with this one. This happened in October of 1966. I'm going to start with the one that happened with the soldier, then we'll go to the one that happened with the civilians. So this is from Crisis and Conflict in Nigeria by A.H.M. Kirk-Greene. So it says here, attention to the possible political plans of the East was renewed when Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu gave an interview to 2 foreign journalists declaring that, quote, Igbo and Northern soldiers can no longer live together in the same barracks. This was still in 66, so in other words, there is no Biafra yet. So he says Igbo and Northern soldiers can no longer live, in the same barracks. But that's not even the point. I'm just trying to start with the soldiers. I'm going to go to the one that had to do with him actually telling people to leave. This book is called The Nigerian Civil War. Melt, I hope you are there. The Nigerian Civil War by John de St. Jorre. In October of 1966, Ojukwu ordered the expulsion of all non-Easterners from his region on the grounds that he could no longer assure their safety. It was a controversial move open to several interpretations. Many thought he was clearing the decks for secession and that he did not want non-Igbos around to see what was going on. The fact that Igbos from the Midwest were exempt from the order added some weight to this. So the Igbos who were from the Midwest but who were in the Eastern region, he did not tell them to leave. But every single person, so think about it, if you were from the Midwest but you were Edo, you had to go. If you were Yoruba, you had to go. Hausa, you had to go. But if you were Igbo from the Midwest, he allowed you to stay. So he essentially moved out everybody, and this was October of 66. And the reason I always mention this is because there was no Biafra. I mean, he did not declare Biafra until May 1967. So this is about 7 months before the declaration of Biafra. I was already telling people to leave his space. So I hope you got the, I mean, there are many more stuff, but I hope that answers the question.